Hello and welcome. Today we're going to take a look at verbs of existence in Japanese, how and when to use them. The Japanese language takes a different approach from English in that there are two verbs that are commonly used for talking about the existence of things. Two special verbs can be used when talking about the existence of something. Arimasu, the dictionary form of which is aru, is used for inanimate objects. An inanimate object is an object that can't move under its own power. Plants, flowers, trees, rocks, and so on are inanimate. It may be alive, but it's unable to move under its own power, and is therefore an inanimate object. On the other hand, we'll use the verb imasu, dictionary form of which is iru, for animate objects. Animate objects are things that are alive and can move under their own power. Animals, people, that sort of thing, are considered to be animate objects. Let's have a look at some usage examples. Remember that animate objects require imasu. Our first example, inu ga imasu. Inu ga imasu. There is a dog. Now, I've put the word there in parentheses in the English equivalent sentence because we don't have a grammatical sentence without it. But notice that in Japanese we only have really two words in this sentence, inu and imasu. Our particle ga simply ties these two together and states what is. Inu ga imasu. Literally, a dog exists. If we phrase it that way in English, it sounds a bit odd, so we'll translate it to a little more straightforward version, which is, there is a dog. Now, our next example. Tako ga imasu. Tako ga imasu. There is an octopus. Hito ga imasu. Hito ga imasu. There is a person. It's worth noting here that changes that take place in English don't necessarily take place in Japanese. Consider the following scenario. You're at home one day, you hear some scratching at the door. You go up, you open the door, and your Japanese friend wants to know, what's out there? What's making all that noise? You open the door and see that there's a dog sitting outside. You tell your friend, in Japanese, inu ga imasu. Inu ga imasu. There's a dog out here, scritching and scratching and making all this noise. You go back to whatever you were doing, you sit down. Now you hear even more scratching at the door. You get up, you walk over to the door, you open the door, and you find outside there's a whole bunch of dogs. Your Japanese friend asks you again, what's making all that noise? What's out there? You tell him or her again, inu ga imasu. Inu ga imasu. Now, there are ways in Japanese to be specific about the quantity of dogs outside, but I give you this example simply to illustrate the following. In Japanese, there is no difference in the sentences whether there's one or whether there's a dozen dogs. The sentence, therefore, inu ga imasu could mean, depending on the context, either there is a dog or there are dogs. In English, is changes to are because there's more than one. In Japanese, no such change is made. Inu ga imasu simply tells us there is or there are dogs. Let's take a look then at arimasu in action. Arimasu, recall, are for inanimate objects. Kasa. Kasa ga arimasu. Kasa ga arimasu. There is an umbrella. There is an umbrella. Kaban. Kaban ga arimasu. Kaban ga arimasu. There is a bag. Toke. 時計があります。 時計があります。There is a watch. Notice, please, the fundamental different nature of these objects. An umbrella, a bag, a watch. None of these are imbued with life or spirit, and so they take arimasu. They are inanimate objects. Now you may be asking yourself, how are imasu and arimasu different from des? Doesn't des mean essentially the same thing, is, in Japanese sentences? Let me clarify with an example. 犬です。犬です. It's a dog. We use des to describe or identify someone or something, whereas we use imasu and arimasu to state that someone or something is or exists. 犬がいます. There is a dog, or literally, a dog exists. For clarification's sake, let me give you one more example. Let's say you're standing on a street corner in Tokyo with a friend, and you see a dog go across a busy intersection. Now, it's natural in both Japanese and English to say something along the lines of, "Oh look, there's a dog," and then follow it with some other information about the dog. It's small, it's cute, it's in danger, whatever that happens to be. This is also the case in Japanese. The exchange might sound something like this. あ、犬がいます。チワワです. Look, there's a dog. Oh, it's a chihuahua. We've therefore stated that something is 犬がいます, there is a dog, and then used des to identify it. チワワです. It's a chihuahua. It would be incorrect, therefore, to say something like this. 犬です. Chihuahua des. The sentence is odd because, remember, des is used to identify someone or something, and simply stating 犬です, your friend is certainly going to wonder what it is you're talking about or who it is you're talking about. Imagine standing on that street corner and saying to your English-speaking friend, "It's a chihuahua." Okay, what is? Your friend will certainly want to know what it is you're talking about. The same thing applies in Japanese. So just keep in mind that imasu is used along with arimasu to describe the existence of things, and des is used to describe or identify something. There are also other uses for verbs of existence, other meanings. Let's take a look. We can also use arimasu to mean that we have something, as in the following examples. お金があります. お金があります. I have money. I have money. Or to indicate that some event will occur. パーティーがあります. パーティーがあります. There is a party. Sentences that include verbs of existence, imasu and arimasu, when used in this way to indicate that an event will occur or that you have something, can be a little ambiguous sometimes. Let's take a look at an example. 高い家があります. 高い家があります. Now, this could mean one of two things. There's an expensive house, describing or indicating the existence of a house, an expensive-looking house. Or it could also mean, I have an expensive house. Which of these two intended meanings is communicated depends on the context in Japanese. If you and a friend are strolling through town on a residential street and walk by a house such as this, you might say to him or her, 高い家がありますね. There's an expensive-looking house over there. However, if you're indoors and talking with a friend about homes and you said to him or her, 高い家があります, that would be taken to mean, I have an expensive house. As always in Japanese, context is king for establishing meaning. All right, let's sum up what we know about imasu and arimasu. 1. To state that some inanimate object exists, use the verb arimasu. 2. To state that some animate object exists, use the verb imasu. 3. The particle ga should be used following the person or thing that exists. 4. Arimasu and imasu can also be used to say that one has something, like a party or a test or a family relation. And finally, before we wrap up, I'll give you a chance to try your skills at using imasu and arimasu to complete some sentences. So we'll move on to the quiz portion of our video. For this quiz, please select imasu or arimasu, that is, the word that best completes each short sentence. Here we go. Keiki gaレモンが猫がデートが鳥がコンサートが寿司が忍者が医者がゾンビがハンバーガーがピアノが猫が Thanks for watching. ありがとう。